Hey guys, this is Josh, aka DE-Evo Project, and today we're going to show you how to make your own visulite Pentec symbols out of some raw materials and a donor symbol. So what we start off with is a Pentec TC. We'll come back to that in just a moment. We're going to move over here. This is a piece of 1/4 inch acrylic. It's the same stuff that the visulites are made out of. We got it masked off and we have our template drawn up on it. Now it's a 1/4 inch thick because the 1/8 inch thick stuff was just really way too thin. It was too flexible. The 3/16 might work, but I didn't see any available at my local hardware store. This sheet, which is 18 by 24 inch, will run you about $16 and some change. We're going to actually go through the process to cut this down and use, the raw sheets that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere else. Suggs on Doc's Rock Band Mods actually pulled up a link and posted in one of my threads on some guys that sell pre-cut circles or discs of 1/4 inch and I think 1/8 inch, and a 14 inch circle I'll run you about $16 plus your shipping. Now if you're going to cut it, you're going to need a jigsaw. This one is a Ryobi variable speed orbital. You just need to make sure you have a low speed setting available. You're going to use a power drill for drilling your mounting holes and the places to screw in your pickup. Masking tape and duct tape. You're going to need the duct tape to make up your home vacuum form, and the masking tape or any masking material will work for your acrylic. You're also going to need a Dremel rotary tool if you're going to cut it yourself to clean up the edges. We're using one with a little sanding drum here. Put it on a really high speed. That way your sanding drum will actually heat up the plastic and tend to make it smooth itself out a little bit better. It will kind of heat up, melt it, get nice smooth edges. And like I said, just use a decently high speed setting. Too high, it might bounce off the acrylic, but set it for about medium to medium high. And then your tools to disassemble your donor symbol. Mine only took the screwdriver and a crescent wrench. So you're going to need your acoustic symbol. Mine's a 20-inch ride that I got from a friend of mine. He let me borrow it for a while. The 20-inch ride I liked because I could make my ride symbol and my crash symbol. I just need something a little bit bigger. I currently have a hi-hat for making my hi-hat symbol because the bells were a little bit smaller. So depending on what size symbol you're making, that's what you need. A good set of bits. One of the bits you're going to need is a countersinking bit. This is so that your screws don't stick up above the acrylic and you wear holes in your pad. You can see here where the screw holes are countersunk so that the screw heads will sit flush with the plastic. You're also going to need the pickup off of it. I've already disassembled mine. Mine came off. I can actually put the symbol back together. It's just a little plastic box with a 1/4 inch jack and a piezo sensor in it. You could probably make one of these from stuff at Radio Shack, but I just disassembled my symbol to use because it was easiest to do it that way. I'm sure you could jimmy rig the plastic pad and the rubber, and you're going to need your strike pad for the surface of the symbol. So we're going to get started here and move on. Okay guys, we're going to go over your acrylic and your vacuum form here. I got my acrylic cut out into a nice round circle here. Like I said, go slow and do it right the first time, that way you don't have as much to clean up. You're still going to have a couple of spots. I've got one up in this top left corner that's a little bit high that I went back and cleaned up. It's right there. So you're going to have to go back with the Dremel anyway if you cut it out, because your edges are going to be just a little bit ragged from the saw blade. You can see here where it's a little roughed up. So basically we're going to go back, and the heating process is actually going to do a little bit of the work for us, but we're going to go back with a Dremel on a really high speed. It'll melt that down and smooth it out real nice. Just use a lighter grit sanding drum if you have one. Also, when you're doing your jigsaw work, be careful running the jigsaw around, because the guides on the blade can snag the masking tape and cause little rough spots like this right here down the corner. You can see that little bit of red. That was from the guides on the jigsaw. Now that'll come right out with a little bit of plastic polish for plastic headlights from like AutoZone or Pep Boys or someplace like that. But the least amount of finishing work that you have to do, the better off that you are. So be as careful as you can. Maybe put something over the top of that, like some cardboard, to keep from having those rough spots, or to keep from snagging on your acrylic or dragging anything, because acrylic will tend to scratch kind of easy with any amount of pressure at all. So we're going to take our piece of acrylic over here to our little vacuum form. So the vacuum form is just the hose of a shop vac duct taped up to a cymbal, and we're using a 5 horsepower rigid shop vac. Something that high powered is pretty good to use. It formed really well. So you want to center up your acrylic nice and even here. I got these little ding marks that help me out. You don't want your bell off center. And we're going to start with the vacuum off, heating the acrylic all over until you see it start to sag. Once it starts to sag in the middle, then it's time to really get started. You cut on your vacuum and start heating around the outside edge really nice and slow until the acrylic starts to form and gets a good seal. You'll hear the pitch of the vacuum cleaner change just a little bit. At that point, we're going to start working our way in a spiral pattern, real nice and easy, around the inside of this, or around the cymbal towards the inside. Now, as you get towards the inside, you want to be really careful and go really slow, because the bell is so deep, it takes a lot more forming. And the trick here is if you heat the middle of the cymbal too much, then the actual top of the bell will hit your hole, the little mounting hole where your vacuum is being pulled through, a little hole like that, and cut off your vacuum before the rest of the cymbal's shaped, and then you're done. You're not able to get those bumps out because you have no more vacuum. So we're going to go and move into heating now. Okay guys, so I've already got the vacuum on and I'm starting to heat everything right now, and you can see how slow I'm moving around the edge. It's starting to form up pretty nice. The edges have formed into the cymbal, getting a good airtight seal, and I'm just working my way around the outside edge real nice and easy. Now with clear acrylic, it can be kind of hard to see what is formed and what hasn't, so you got to really pay attention. It helps if you don't have quite so many glares like I do in my kitchen doing this, but you want to make sure everything's evenly against the cymbal, and you can see here where it's formed and it's got that curvature to it. And we're just getting the bow all formed up, making sure that we have all the bubbles out and everything is pressed down there nice and tight, and starting to take that type of shape. So I'm just going to go through this for a little while and move down into the bow. Now we've got it, it's already done, it's all cooled off, and you can see here the bow, or the bell has formed really nice. It's really smooth down in there. I took my time, went easy with it, and I got a really good bell shape. Came out really good and round. So once it cools, you might want to check it with your fingers like this and make sure that everything's smooth down in there. And if it hasn't, and you still haven't cut off your vacuum yet, you may want to go back and start heating that spot and turn the vacuum back on so that you can get it formed back in there really well. So we've got the shape. It just finished cooling. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of here and lift it up, and you can see where it's got the nice gradual slopes to it. It's perfectly formed just like the cymbal, and by taking my time, the bell came out really, really well. So we're going to take it out here in just a minute, and we're going to start drilling it for all the holes and get it all lined up and ready to take our hardware. And you can see how much those scuff marks will show after you've got it formed, so make sure that you go easy and don't scuff it up too much. And we're going to go out here and clean up the edge in just a second as well too. So this is what you should have after you get done with the heating and vacuum forming process. Like I said, make sure that you leave the vacuum on until the cymbal has cooled. That way it doesn't try and go back to its original shape, and you're left with something that looks, this good. Okay guys, I just got done drilling everything here. For the TC, I just laid the TC over the top, and I drilled these 2 holes for the piezo and my mounting hole. I went ahead and countersunk them. While you're countersinking, go slow, keep checking it to make sure that you've gotten enough out that the heads will actually sit flush, but don't take out so much that you're weakening the material and that you might just crack it right through when you try and tighten everything up. So you can see both the holes there. And my mounting hole that I drilled, I believe that one's a 3/8 inch bit is what I used, and it drilled through real real easy. So make sure you mask off everything while you're doing the drilling, because acrylic does have a tendency to hairline fracture or crack away from the hole, especially when you're using a more coarse bit. So use the bit on high speed or a medium to high speed, and take your time, and like I said, mask it again before you start to drill everything. That way you don't crack anything and have an ugly looking cymbal. So we're going to go ahead and finish it up. Okay guys, here's the finished product with the sensor on it, and I have the pad still off. I'll put that on here in a second. And you have a visulite cymbal. I mean, I've taken this to some of my drummer buddies. I took my ride to them, my 18-inch ride that I made first. Asked them how it felt. They said it feels just like a visulite, plays just like a visulite, and for an E cymbal compared to an acoustic cymbal, it's one of the best feels you'll get on an E kit. So this is just a single zone version. There's a whole lot more stuff you can do with them. Any cool things you guys do, show me. If you add some LEDs, I'm going to add a trim molding around the edge to mine, and I'm going to paint them with some stained glass or taillight smoking paints to get a cool custom look out of them. And as soon as I get my hi-hat stuff in, I'm going to get those made, and I'm going to do some stuff with that. Just to let you guys know, the next project I'm going to work on, I'll try and do a video for it, is going to be converting an acoustic hi-hat stand into an E-kit controller using my stock Ion pedal, so that I can have a full motion E-kit hi-hat cymbal stand. So as soon as I get that video up, I'll let you guys know. I really appreciate you guys sticking around watching, and you guys go home and get to modding. Alright.